Bert's sit-in and hunger strike continues. OU updates travel guidelines due to the coronavirus, and early voting begins today. This is OU Nightly.
This battle isn't easy. As marginalized students, allies, people of color, anything that we do, especially an institution that didn't want us to be here from the beginning, that wouldn't allow us in these doors to be sitting here 100 years ago, we are working hard and we're working strong to do that.
That video just in minutes ago from Evans Hall, where protesters are planning in on a third day of a sit-in. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Tevis Hillis.
And I'm Austin Hernandez. OU Nightly's Cal Day was the only reporter at Ellison Hall when this meeting took place. He's live outside the sit-in with the very latest. Cal?
Yeah, good evening, guys. I've spent much of the day right here outside Evans Hall, where, as you can see behind me on the statue, is the banner with the hashtag Harper Has to Go, and that's really been the theme here of day two of this sit-in. Now, we know that Bert met with Provost Harper earlier today for about a 45-minute meeting. That also included other university leadership, and the meeting centered around Bert's demand for Harper to resign. There's a common mindset on day two of the sit-in.
I'm here because I'm not an ally, I'm an accomplice. I'm willing to put my life on the line because Harper has to go.
The Black Emergency Response Team demanding for the resignation of Provost Kyle Harper. This morning, OU seed sower draped with a banner with the hashtag Harper Has to Go. Many eyes and ears were centered on a meeting scheduled between Bert and Harper earlier today. We were there at Ellison Hall, where the group met with Harper, as well as Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion, Belinda Hypolite, and Dean of Students, David Surratt. Members from Bert left the meeting after 45 minutes and made their return to Evans Hall. Back there, many students and faculty taking part in the sit-in. Stairways have turned into breakfast nooks, hallways into sign stations, and couches into beds. The university says they have come to an agreement on 3 of the demands: a mandatory equity training for all faculty and staff, a new Gen Ed course to promote equity and inclusion, and expanded counseling resources for students. Not on the list, Provost Harper's resignation. Bert's response is the sit-in will continue. Now, as it stands, we know that Harper has not tendered his resignation. As a result, just a few minutes ago, members of the Bert community say that this is probably going to go on for a third day. Now, it's been a real interesting day. The fire marshal's been walking up and down, checking on people, making sure the alleys are clear, obviously keeping safety a top priority. There's also been several members of the OU faculty that have been here in attendance, and they've been telling their students, don't worry, we won't count you absent. We want you here to be doing this instead. So obviously, lots of supports from lots of different people. For now, we're live just outside Evans Hall. Cal Day, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Cal. Let's take a look again at what students say they want to happen in order for them to end the sit-in. The group is asking for the resignation of Provost Kyle Harper. They say his lack of reaction to racist events at OU is a serious issue. They also want mandatory training for OU faculty and semester-long diversity training. The group is also asking for a new multicultural center on campus. The demands and the sit-in come on the heels of a second OU professor using a racial slur during class, and after a series of blackface videos were posted on social media over 2 different semesters.
The frustration student members of Bert are expressing with the sit-in is not new. Shortly after the first incident of an OU professor using the N-word in a classroom 2 weeks ago, we interviewed the co-director of Bert.
So how are you as a college, not only as a university, are you working towards this? When you talk about the recent racial incidents, they're mostly students involved. Not people before me, unheard, have talked about how we need to increase faculty and staff of color because it increases their perspective as well.
OU Nightly is monitoring the situation inside Evans Hall right now. We'll have another update for you later in the newscast.
New information tonight about just how fast the coronavirus is spreading here in the United States. We know California is monitoring more than 8,000 people who might have coronavirus.
As of today at this hour, we have 33 confirmed positive tests for the virus. 5 individuals have subsequently moved out of state. So there are 28 people that we know in the state of California that are positive.
The California State Health Office says the infection of a woman who lives near Sacramento, quote, marks a turning point because she developed the virus without traveling to an area of concern, meaning she contracted it from another person in the United States.
The concern is not just in California. It's across the country and around the world. For more on how this virus is affecting people and globally, here at OU, let's turn it to our health reporter, Kayla Davis.
Thanks, Tevis. Worldwide, the coronavirus has infected over 80,000 people and killed almost 3,000. Take a look at the World Health Organization's distribution map of the virus. Inside the U.S., though, a new confirmed case in California is surprising health officials as the individual has not traveled outside the country or came into contact with someone who has. This could be the beginning of what is called community spread in the U.S. San Francisco declared an emergency over the new case. And since the CDC implies that it's not a question of if, but when the coronavirus will spread across the U.S., President Trump announced a new approach and appointed Vice President Pence to handle the country's responses to the issue.
We'll continue to bring the full resources of the federal government in coordination with our state and local partners.
Trump chose Pence based on his experience handling healthcare issues as governor of Indiana. The president expressed he is not worried about the spread of the virus as the country's tactics have been fairly successful so far. The coronavirus is changing some OU students, faculty, and staff travel plans. The university previously suspended all travel to China and Hong Kong, but now they are adding Italy, Iran, Japan, and South Korea to the list of impacted countries under the OU's travel guidelines and restrictions. Starting immediately, OU students, faculty, and staff will no longer be allowed to go to these countries for business or academic purposes. This includes all study abroad programs to the impacted countries, and many students are struggling as they have to change their end of semester or summer plans. And the Trump administration is looking into a 1950s wartime law to expand mask production. Along with masks, health officials recommend regularly washing your hands with soap and water and using alcohol-based hand sanitizers.
I think that's the best way to do it right there, just trying to keep your hygiene up and doing what you can and just hoping that you don't get it. But thank you, Kayla.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the Oklahoma Senate passed a bill to protect the Second Amendment rights of medical marijuana card holders. State Bill 959 would allow card holders to have a concealed carry permit. In Oklahoma, the current law prohibits citizens that have illegal drug use violations on their record to apply for a handgun license. If passed, the bill clarifies it would still be illegal to carry or use a gun while under the influence of marijuana. The Senate bill is now heading to the State House of Representatives for a vote.
Early voting in Oklahoma started today. Voting is taking place until 6 tonight, then tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Early voting takes place at every county's election board. In larger cities, there are additional locations open. You can find that information on your county's election website. All polling locations will be open Tuesday for voting from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And if you're thinking about heading to the polls, I hear we have some nice weather headed our way, Tevis.
Might have to bring out those shorts. Tyler Pardoon has a first look at our forecast.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon, and good afternoon to all of you. Happy Thursday. We are sitting at 63 degrees right now. The winds are coming out of the southwest, blowing at about 9 miles per hour. You know, I was stumbling on my way here today, but you know, the winds have essentially died down now, and they will be dying down overnight tonight. And here are the current wind speeds: 6 miles per hour right now in Ardmore, 9 in Norman, and 10 miles per hour right now in Oklahoma City. And here are the current temperatures. Look at this. We're seeing temperatures in the lower 60s. So, you know, we're talking about a big warm up. My full forecast is coming up in just a bit. Stay with us.
Wisconsin is mourning after the worst mass shooting in state's history. We'll have more on the latest workplace killing spree.
Plus, back to the live feed from Evans Hall. No current updates yet, but we will provide that information when we know more.
A huge drop in the stock market. Audrey Goodson has that story and the rest of today's headlines around the world.
Thanks, Tevis. The stock market is still plummeting due to fears of a coronavirus outbreak. The stock market is now on track to face its worst week since the 2008 recession. The coronavirus has now spread to 47 countries and is putting pressure on businesses throughout the world. Dow has dropped 1,191 points today, being the largest single-day point drop in history. S&P is having its worst day since August of 2011, and NASDAQ is also down. All three major indices are now undergoing a correction period. This period indicates a 10% drop from a 52-week high. And a gunman stormed the Molson Coors Brewery complex in Milwaukee, killing 5 people before turning the gun on himself. The shooter has been a longtime employee of the company. All of the shooting victims were also employees of the Molson Coors company. They were all found within the same building. A motive for the shooting has not yet been identified. Coincidentally, just hours before the shooting, Wisconsin lawmakers declared that the state's gun laws wouldn't change. This was the 11th mass shooting in Wisconsin since 2004. And a former federal prosecutor, Dan Goldman, has announced he will be stepping down from the House Intelligence Committee. Goldman played a major role in President Trump's impeachment hearings. The former prosecutor was in charge of questioning witnesses at both hearings in public and in private. He will be the third top House Democratic advisor to leave Washington since the acquittal of the U.S. president earlier this month. Goldman will be returning to New York to spend time with his family. And an ex-Baltimore mayor is being sentenced to 3 years in prison for her role in a children's book deal scandal. Catherine Pugh sold her self-published book to local nonprofit organizations in order to obtain a more than $800,000 to fund her campaign and enrich herself.
Now a celebration for the 100th anniversary of Oklahoma passing the law for women to vote.
When we have when and where the celebration is taking place.
Weekend, how warm are we talking? My full forecast coming up in just a bit. And welcome back to OU Nightly. You know, currently we're seeing plenty of sunshine out there today. You know, high temperatures, we're in the mid 60s, and the bulk of that cloud cover right now is extending up into parts of northern Oklahoma. So we are seeing plenty of sunshine throughout the day today. And here's our next storm system that will be, it's out churning right now in the Pacific Northwest. It will be coming into the area Monday night on into Tuesday. So our rain chances will be on the increase going into the early part of next week. But overnight tonight, expect to see a few passing clouds just passing by with winds will be on the increase as well into about 10 to 20 miles per hour or so. And then tomorrow afternoon, we'll be seeing temperatures that will be in the mid 50s or so and going on into 70 degrees for Saturday afternoon. So those wind speeds will be increasing as well for the weekend. We'll be seeing wind speeds from 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts upwards up to 20 miles per hour at times. Again, same story for Saturday as well. 18 miles per hour, 19 miles per hour, upwards of 20 miles per hour gusts at times. So overnight tonight, we'll see our low temperature of 32, 31 in Oklahoma City, 29 in Ardmore, and 24 in Lawton. Tomorrow, we'll see our daytime high temperature of 64 degrees, lower 60s as you go up towards the north. So again, tonight, passing clouds, breezy at times, winds out of the northwest, blowing at 7 miles per hour. But look at that full 7-day forecast. Oh, don't you love to see it? 70 degrees on Saturday, 73 on Sunday. You know, if you got a kite, you might want to fly it because those winds will be blowing quite strong.
I can't wait.
I'm going to bring out the cut-off sleeves this weekend.
Yeah.
Bring out the shorts and flip-flops. Get ready to go.
There
You're
you
going to
go.
work out. You do some
Probably
running?
going to go for a run outside, take a dog for a walk. It's going
Yeah.
to be a good one.
Yeah.
Fantastic weekend.
Oh, we're
Exactly.
ready for
Thank
it.
you, Tyler.
Thanks.
Awesome. Yep, you bet.
Now, the University of Oklahoma Science and Arts of Oklahoma is celebrating the 100th anniversary of Oklahoma, passing the right for women to vote with a panel of several female political leaders. USAO will be holding an event Friday, February 28th, called Votes for Women in the 21st Century. Several female political leaders will be discussing the struggles women have in politics. Now, the event will be held in the USAO ballroom, and doors will open at 5:45.
Switching it over to the NBA, there is a new 5th seed in the Western Conference, Tevis, and you do not have to travel far to find them.
Well, I know who has all that information. Shannon Earhart has more.
Yeah, you know, guys, it's the Thunder, and I'm happy for them, but I wish they didn't have to beat my Chicago Bulls. I'm also here to deliver some exciting news about OU basketball star Brady Manek. Stay tuned to find out more. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Shannon Earhart, and yes, it's time for sports. OU women's hoops are stuck in a rut and just can't seem to get out. The Sooners fell to KU last night, adding a 5th game to their losing streak. Both Yanusa and Williams put up 20-plus points, but it just wasn't enough to finish off the Jayhawks, which resulted in that 83-80 loss. But hey, look, the men's team has a bright side. Power forward Brady Manek is now on the academic All-Big 12 hoops team. Manek is not only an absolute powerhouse on the court, but in the books too. The 6'9 junior sits at a 3.53 GPA and manages to remain one of the top scorers in the Big 12. If you ask me, it's pretty impressive. And some big bucks just rolled in for OU baseball. $1.1 million to be exact was donated by former OU baseball player Brian Kimry. The money will be put towards a fancy upgrade of Aldale Mitchell Park. The $15 million project will add up to be a first-class experience for everyone. And the OU track team is running circles these days, so we sent OU Nightly's Caroline Grace to catch up.
Hey guys, we are coming to you from Ames, Iowa, ahead of the indoor track and field Big 12 championships. I'm here with head coach Tim Langford. Coach, you've been here since August. How has the team bought into your program?
I'll tell you what, they've bought in very well. You know, it's been about them and not me. You know, that was the first thing that I stressed when I got the position. Hey, let's focus on how we make this program better. You know, and the minute it's about me, we've already lost. You know, they focused on themselves, their development. They've just given me a ton of support, and it's all coming together.
Okay, tell us where we're seated on the boys and girls side headed into this weekend.
Okay, well, right now on paper, we're 4th on both sides, and that's a whole lot better than where we've been in the past years in our finishes. You know, we've been 6th, 7th on both sides. So to see the point production and the conference rankings has been well for us. And like I said, we're hoping that it really pulls off for us this weekend.
Okay, and what are your expectations for the team?
I expect that we're going to finish out just as strong as we started. You know, everything is rounding into position for us. You know, the coordination is there. You know, in every event area, everybody's just coming into their own and ready to own the moment.
All right, guys, we will be here all weekend. We'll keep you updated on social media. Guys, back to you in Norman.
And you know, it's that time we've all been waiting for. Yeah, I'm talking about the Combine. The quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends are out in Indianapolis now, running through a variety of drills. 4 Sooners are working out over the 4-day event, including fan favorites Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb. Lamb put up 11 reps on the bench press, which honestly isn't the best, but also not the worst. Hurts will come later in the day. The OKC Thunder is red hot, jumping to the number 5 seed in the West. Sacramento will roll into OKC for tonight's 7 o'clock matchup. OKC snatched a 2-point win from Chicago on Tuesday and is hungry to extend their win streak to 5 tonight. And you guys won't believe this one. Grace College's Charlie Warner thought he had this one in the bag, but hold up, Mason DeGainkolb had other plans. So just wait for this one. He seals a 75-footer swoosh, no problem at all, taking that dub from Grace College. It was unbelievable. I watched it live and I was shook.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
Oh,
That is
once in a lifetime.
Exactly. Thank you, Shannon.
Now let's talk about something from 5,000 years ago.
This drink has something wild straight ahead on OU Nightly.
Yeah, good evening, guys. We're still out here at Evans Hall, and I'm going to step out of the way here. The doors right here where several faculty members are standing to greet students. These are expected to close at 5 o'clock, so in just under 4 minutes, these doors will close for the night. No students will be allowed to enter back into Evans Hall. The ones that are here, they're going to be in it for the long haul. We've seen lots of people bringing pillows, blankets, snacks, people gearing up for what could be another long night into tomorrow morning as day 3 looms. So as you can see, people coming in, making their last arrangements, and it's going to be a long night out here at Evans Hall. For now, we're live out here at Evans Hall. Cal Day, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Cal. Some beer lovers in Jerusalem are giving a whole new meaning to aging a brew. This pub is serving a beer made with yeast that's 5,000 years old.
Oh my goodness. Now, it was a discovery by 2 men, including one microbiologist, in old clay pots. They were able to recreate the yeast in a lab and put together their first batch of it. In terms of how good the brew is, now that jury is still out. So let's now toss it back to the weather.
Yeah.
You know, it's warm.
You
What
know,
else is happening?
It is warm. We're going to be a great weekend to go outside, enjoy yourself. But our next weather maker comes on Monday night into Tuesday. There's a 7-day forecast. High winds for the weekend. And our next chance of rain comes Tuesday night. And then back to our normally scheduled program.
Yeah,
Perfect.
For the rest of the week.
It's going to be good while it lasts, and I think that's what we got to be grateful for. But I mean, you know, it's Oklahoma.
Super Tuesday, it's going to rain though.
Exactly, but it's Oklahoma. You know, it
is Oklahoma.
It gives us a hint. It gives us a hint, and then it just takes it all away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Keeps us on your toes for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all the time we have for OU Nightly.
Tune in tomorrow again, live at 4:30.
Have a great night.
Good night.